Happy Saturday. Today's video, my thoughts on the Weldtec 6-inch lift kit for 40 Econoline vans. I have no sponsors, no one gives me anything, so I get to say whatever I want. This channel is funded by me. It'll help me a lot. If you guys like my video, I'm at an 87.4 thumbs up ratio, so I would like to see my channel get up to 90%. If you're a regular on this channel and you've been watching the V10 Econoline project for the past year, you've heard me talk about this lift kit for a whole year now. Got this van on February 24, 2020. Got my lift kit installed on March 4, 2021. So it was a whole year of waiting. Walk around real quick. This is an expensive mod, $4,400 installed. When I picked up my van and saw it for the first time, I was happy. I wanted 6 inches of lift. That's what I paid for, and I got 6 inches of lift. But the other reason I went for the 6-inch lift and not an action van again is because of the ride. The ride is greatly advertised. It's going to be amazing. But I was a little disappointed. So when I first started driving my van, I was like, man, I think I should have got the action van. The action van kit is $2,800 installed. That was 7-8 years ago. Maybe it went up a little bit, but still $1,600. That's a big price difference. The ride did improve. I can't tell the difference between this and the action van. They feel about the same. Maybe this will be better off-road than the action van, since it has bent I-beams, but there is an improvement, and the big improvement that I can tell is when I go into a gas station or a shopping center. You know, when you come in, sometimes it's elevated and you tend to come in at an angle. This is a 20-year-old van. It's body on frame, so when I would come into a gas station at an angle, I could hear the frame flexing a little bit. You know, I know all the sounds of my van. I have attention to detail when it comes to listening for sounds. And the ride did improve. And then when I come into an angle now, into a gas station or shopping center, I don't hear the frame flexing anymore. So it definitely improved. I have some old footage of my last van with the action van suspension. It got about a 4-inch lift. The $2,800 got me about 4 inches. This is 6 inches of lift, and I'll compare the wheel gap right now. Before I get rid of my 92, I think it'll be cool to do a side-by-side with the old van and new van. The big obvious different height. Action van suspension, 4.5-inch lift kit on this one. This van will get a lift kit. Same size tires, 245s on both of them. This is an action van suspension lift kit, and it has 9 inches of wheel gap with the action van suspension lift kit. 9 inches up front. At the back, it's about an 8-inch gap right there, about 8 inches. So let's go ahead and look at my new van, and let's see what the gap is stock height. So here we go. Here's the gap for stock height. Big difference, 5 inches up front versus 9, and in the back, 6-inch wheel gap right there, about 6.5. So 6.5 and 5 right there. Big difference between the lifted van and the stock van. Here's the wheel gap up front. I went from 5 inches to 10.5, so almost 6, pretty close. The action van was about a 4-inch lift. on my last van. Here's the rear, from about 6.5 inches to 10 inches of wheel gap. So the big lift is up front. The front rides lower than the back, but it definitely has more lift than the action van suspension did. I don't mean to sound down on this kit. I'm not. No regrets. But if I were to do it over again, I would have went with the action van suspension lift kit, saved $1,600 and got a rear locker installed at the same time. No rear locker on this van, so that's another expense that I still have to pay for. I really want a rear locker for this. It all comes down to money. I'm a blue collar guy. This was a lot of overtime. $4,400 is a lot of money. This kit starts off at $2,700. I thought the installation was going to be about $1,000, so I thought this would be under $4,000, just under $4,000, but it ended up being $4,400. So yeah, I should have called or emailed and asked how much everything costs, but I didn't. So I'm telling you guys how much it costs: $4,400 versus $2,800 for the action van. But like I said, it looks like prices went up for both. Last year this kit was $2,600 just for the parts. It went up to $2,700, and when I bought my action van it was $1,900. It looks like it's $2,089 now. So it depends. It depends on how you guys feel. Is $4,400 a lot to you guys? Is $2,800 that much easier for you guys to save up for? Let me go ahead and talk about the positives I like. For one, you get an extra 1.5 inches of lift versus the action van. And if you're a car fanatic like me, you'll notice the little details, like the extended radius arm. That's really cool. That's something I really appreciate. It makes it look that much more custom. And then when you look at the I-beams, they're bent, so they bend up, so you got a little more clearance right here. I haven't taken this off-road yet, but the bent I-beam is supposed to give you more suspension travel versus the drop-down I-beam bracket. So when you look at the action van suspension, the I-beams come straight across. All in all, I'm happy with this lift. I like that I got an extra 1.5 inches over the action van. I like the extended radius arms. Like I said, it gives it a more custom look than the action van. But to be fair, action van also offers an extended radius arm. Not as long as this one though. So does Camberg. Camberg, they also do custom radius arms, but this one's extra long. See those 3 bolt holes right there? That's where the original was, so they actually extended out way back. Action van and Camberg still use the stock bolts, I believe, so it's still a short radius arm. So Camberg, they're expensive too. Camberg is the other lift kit company, but I've never had experience with them. But they also use bent I-beams, and they're also expensive. $4,400 to $4,700 installed, depending on what shocks you choose. They also offer a drop-down bracket, just like Action Van, but they recommend the bent I-beams. They also advertise that bent I-beams are much better off-road. So Camberg is another option if you want to lift your van. And one more way to lift your van is Ford Parts 1. I'll share a picture. They offer a small lift, but it's really cheap. 2-inch up front to level out with the back. Back's always taller on trucks and vans. But Ford Parts 1 offers 2-inch lift up front, and it's only like $300. Personally, I think you're only going to notice the lift if you're a fanatic. The 2-inch lift isn't dramatic, and that's why I said, like, if I were to do this over again, I would have went with Action Van, because 4-inch lift is enough to look dramatic. If you're thinking about lifting your van, I hope this video helped you guys out. 8 years ago, there was no cheap lift kit options. That Ford Parts 1 2-inch lift didn't exist 8 years ago. Who knows, I might have went with that when I had my original van. 8 years ago, all I could find was Action Van suspension, and when I got this van, I found out about Weldtec and Camberg. So if $1,600 is a big difference for you guys, if $1,600 is going to determine if you get a lift or not, go with the Action Van. You won't be disappointed. 4 inches of lift is dramatic enough to give you that look you want. And if you're not really looking for that much lift, just a little more clearance, maybe try out that cheap lift kit. That's $300, 2 inches up front. So, it's something. It'll level your van out at least. Alright, here's my Ford Econoline lifted. I dropped it off on Monday and picked it up Tuesday. I left it overnight at Full Tilt Off-Road. They also own Action Van suspension, and they're the guys who designed the kit for this vehicle. So I figured they should install it. They've worked with it before, so they know what they're doing. $2,800 altogether for the install and the lift. I have no problems with that. Here's what I meant when I said I could hear the frame flex when I entered a gas station or a shopping center. See how this is at a slight incline? So when I would go in at an angle, I could hear the frame flex. Now I can't hear the frame flex, so we'll go up this at an angle right now. Yeah, the frame flex noise is gone, so I noticed the improvement there. The ride quality is slightly improved, but in my opinion, the Action Van and the Weldtec right about the same. And that's what I forgot to mention. Weldtec does offer custom rear springs, and you could upgrade to better shocks, but at that point, it's gonna cost a lot more money. So there you go. There's what I meant by I could hear the frame flex a little bit going up into a gas station or shopping center.